Bro, To Be Hero X just gave us a fight that was so good, I'm pissed the fuck off. Queen vs. Bowa was arguably the best fight we've gotten in To Be Hero X, and I'm not even gonna lie, it's probably the best fight we've gotten in the last month and a half since Luffy vs. Kizaru in One Piece. The 4 animation studios that are working on To Be Hero X need to be praised to the highest order, praised to the highest degree, glazed with everything we have because they are doing the Lord's work. They gave us 8 minutes of action-packed, no talking, no filler, non-stop fighting sequence. And I'm pissed off because despite how amazing that fight was and how great of the episode it is, I'm sad we're not getting more Queen. We got 4 episodes of Lin Ling, who's probably my fave at this point, 3 episodes of Isol, who's 3 episodes of Lucky Cyan, who I really like, and only 2 of Queen?
What?
Queen is one of the heroes that I'd love to see an entire season about. But outside of that, I can't complain. The Queen story arc was A1, and this episode told us a lot about the power system and also disproved a lot of fan theories that are going around. But I'll get to that in a second. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the page, and hit that noti bell. Before we talk about anything, we have to talk about Bowa because despite how you feel about her, you gotta respect her. I'm not the biggest Bowa fan, but I will say she stood on business to the very end. Shorty was a D1 crash out from start to finish. I mean, of the highest order. Shorty needs to be in the Hall of Fame of crash out. She hit Queen with that Kendrick. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk, I hate the way that you dress. Her hatred for Queen was so deep, she manifested enough power to take on one of the strongest heroes in the verse. And I know people kind of slander Queen because she's ranked number 2, but I don't think you guys understand in any other verse, Queen would probably be the strongest human there. She has showcased strength, speed, endurance, battle IQ, and durability feats that are through the roof, on top of being able to set rules that alter reality or that control reality inside of a space, and the ability to summon spears out of nowhere. I mean, we watched her fire a laser beam that was splitting a mountain. So the fact that Bowa was able to develop a fear value that was able to rival Queen is insane. It also made me question our understanding of fear value, but I'll get to that a little bit later. And listen, in this world, there are 2 types of crash outs. There's a justified crash out and unjustified crash out. This was definitely an unjustified crash out, but I respect it again because of how she stood 10-toed. Bowa is self-made and pressure tested. She has been through the ringer, and the way she got through it was believing in herself. And although jealousy is the root of why she didn't like Queen, I have to say I respect the fact that she believed in herself to the very end, to the point of fighting a death match. And the longer I go on, the more I feel like I'm talking way too much about Bowa. This is Queen's arc, but this is the downside of giving us 2 episodes about the character. In a lot of ways, I honestly feel like we learned more about Queen in the Lucky Cyan storyline than we did in the actual Queen storyline. But I do believe that's a little bit intentional. You see, Nice's storyline was shown to us in a vacuum. Isol's storyline was also shown to us in a vacuum, but you got a little bit of Lucky Cyan. Most of the storylines moving forward as we get closer and closer to the top heroes are going to be a little bit more intertwined. Because the top 7 are in such close proximity and a lot of them work for the same hero company, we'll be learning a lot about these heroes through the stories of other heroes. Now, with that being said, Queen's storyline did introduce 4 subplots that I am extremely interested in, which is why I wish we had like 1 or 2 more episodes. For one, Queen's father, Liu Zhang, is a reporter who found Lucky Cyan, and also it seems like he's really tied into the hero industry. We know that deep down he believes the hero system is suspect and he feels like it needs to be changed. And Queen has taken on this same belief system, but I really want to know like what their plan would be. How exactly do they feel like they can change the hero system? It has to be more than just making Queen become Hero X. Which leads me to my next point. I find the relationship between Queen's dad and Mickey, the CEO of her hero organization, to be really fascinating. Because here you have Mickey, who's technically anti-hero establishment, working hand in hand with somebody who literally benefits and thrives off of the hero system. So I'd love to figure out what their motivations are individually, where the commonality is between them and where they diverge. I do remember in the Lucky Cyan story arc, they did say that they are looking into fear value. But again, what do you mean by that? As of now, I feel like Queen's father has good intentions, so he's not too suspect for me, but Mickey, something about Mickey is shady to me, and he hasn't necessarily done anything wrong. I mean, he kind of talks to the heroes a little bit crazy. As in episode 12, we saw him literally yelling at Lucky Cyan. But I think it's because in To Be Hero X, we see this trend where people in the hero business are shady as fuck. We've seen it time and time again, from the hero managers to the CEO of these corporations. So I'm really interested to see what side of the fence Mickey falls on. And then last but not least, we did get a lot of information about Hero X through Queen's perspective, which is most likely due to the fact that Queen's whole goal, her whole prerogative, is to become Hero X, and he came out of nowhere and pretty much took it from her. Because again, if it were any other verse, Queen would probably be the undisputed strongest person in the world. Now, my biggest question, the biggest mystery so far for me in To Be Hero X is what exactly is fear value? I feel like the word fear value is a misnomer for what it is. All the examples we have of somebody developing a fear value actually didn't start from fear, it started from hatred. And all the examples of this are pretty similar. In the very first episode, we saw Lin Ling's old boss develop a fear value value from hatred, anger, and animosity. We saw the same thing with the Headmaster, Lucky Cyan's orphanage, and something similar with God Eye in the Linling arc. Although that's a slightly different circumstance that we'll probably have to talk about in another video. And now after seeing Bowa's example, it almost feels like fear has nothing to do with this. Nobody even knew she was about to crash out until she did, so I feel like fear value is more of like an anger, animosity, hate value thing, which kind of rewrites my understanding of it because it was given to us as the opposite, the yin to the yang of trust value. And if your trust value is based on how much people trust and believe in you, then your fear value should be logically based on how much people fear you. Except we haven't seen an instance where somebody gained abilities based on fear alone, which is why I feel like the word fear is a misnomer. It should be more like trauma value or anger value or hater value. I don't know, something like that. We'll work it out in the comments. So hopefully as 2B Hero X moves forward, we'll get a little bit more information as to what fear value is exactly and how it works. Bowa's crash out also disproved a very popular theory that's been circling around in the 2B Hero X community. A few weeks ago, we got a statement from the director of 2B Hero X, Lee Hao-lin, and he basically said that the current Hero X is the first hero to break free from the hero system, which led to a very popular theory that Hero X's power comes not from trust value, but from his own self-belief. And honestly, if that were the case, Bowa would be the strongest hero in the history of 2B Hero X. Through the montage of her backstory, we saw her persevere through so much solely in the belief that she could. And to the very end, she believed that she was stronger than Queen and she deserved everything Queen was getting. I'm not totally sure belief in oneself goes much farther than that. Now that being said, Bowa did have a host of problems that maybe could interfere with her supreme belief in herself, but I feel like if all it took to break free from the trust value was supreme belief in yourself, more people would do it. And I totally understand that every single hero we've seen has showcased some form of insecurity, except for Queen. I'm not totally sure Queen has really showed too much. She really believes in herself, but I do believe that your insecurities versus how much you believe in yourself does have a factor or play a role in your abilities, but I don't think that's the reason why Hero X is Hero X. But yeah, for only being 2 episodes, the Queen arc was really fantastic. And next up we have Loli, who's one of the heroes we know the least about. From the PVs, character trailers, and the preview for the next episode, it's clear that she's a super genius that's involved in super tech. And honestly, she kind of gives like a girly Tony Stark. We've even seen in the preview for next episode and the character trailers that she does have her own Tony Stark Iron Man type suit. So I am interested to see her storyline. It does seem like it's going to be a little bit different from anything we've seen so far. But I need you guys to let me know in the comments, what are your theories for fear value? Where does it come from and how does it work? It's clearly more than just fear, and it's also clearly more than just hatred. Also in the comments, let me know which heroes you like in order from best to worst. And while you're in the comments, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the page, hit the noti bell for next time.